Hey guys, welcome to the next tutorial of this new series. Now I will be talking about one of the important packages that we will be needing, which is Pandas. So what is this Pandas? Generally, this Pandas is a library which will help us in data analysis. So we can get data from internet, we can use data that are stored in our database, and we can use them to plot and for creating or making up our data. So uh, actually, if you see here, I have opened the spider editor. So this comes along with the anaconda. So if you have ever downloaded anaconda, which I have already said in my first video, you can see in this anaconda. What is it? Yeah, it's here. So you can see there will be a spider. So you can open this spider notebook here. So once it is open, let me first teach you how to install pandas. So for that, in case you have to open your command prompt. There are many ways that you can install a package into your system. So I'm going to use pip install pandas. So this pip install the package name will directly install those packages into your system. So it will take some time to download or install those packages in our system. So since I have already installed it, it might show requirement already satisfied, or let's wait and see what's happening. So yeah, as I said before, I have already installed this pandas. So it is saying the requirement is already satisfied. If you haven't installed it, it will take some time to install it in your system. So how to check whether the pandas is installed or not? So if I import pandas, and now if I run this program, you can see it is not showing some error. So if I give some random, let's say some name as, so if say panda, so if there is imagine there is a module called panda and I haven't installed that. If I run this, it will say no module name panda. So since I have installed the pandas module, once I run this, it is not showing any error. So since pandas is generally a simple word, but we have a lot of libraries which terminologies are complicated. So we can import this and use the term as a simple in simple words. So I'm importing pandas as pd. So every time I have a need to call this pandas, I can use pd instead of directly typing pandas. So let it be as such. And now let me just walk through you to what I'm going to do. So I have opened this Wikipedia page of COVID-19 country-wise data. So you can see here a lot of data will be available here. So we have country-wise data, we have the this cumulative data. So there are a lot of dates and data available here. So this pandas or pandas library allow us to access those information from online, and it converts them for us in a usable manner. So how to do that? So Panda has a lot of functionalities, but we can get data from a HTML page or from internet using a method called read HTML. So let me create a variable named data. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call this panda. I'm going to say I'm going to use a function of pandas. So I'm using this pd dot read HTML. So this read HTML is a function that will get all the data that are available in that page, in the particular page. I'm going to give the address of that page here. So what and all tables available there, pandas will get it. So let me copy this and let me paste it here. And now if I run this program. It won't show any error. It shouldn't show any error. So you can see that I'm pasting that link as a string into this method called read HTML. Yeah, so you can check what is inside this data. So this data is a variable, so it has a data that was downloaded from this HTML page. So here we will have a variable explorer. So if I open this data table, you can see that Wikipedia page has these number of tables. So they are now stored in a form of a list inside this. So if I have to access, so let me, so the first is called this will be on is COVID pandemic. So this is about this table. So that contains, so this data are stored as table in it. So next table will be this one. So location kind of stuffs are there, which will be this location thing. So next will be the country and the confirmed cases data. So let me close this. Where is that country? Yeah, country, confirmed cases, death. So let's use this table for so we have a lot of tables. All these tables will be stored there. In this tutorial I'm going to use this table, I mean the data of this table. So as we see here, it is in the second index. So if I have to if I need only that second index table, I can just throw them, let me say data 1 is equal to data of. If you haven't seen anything about list, handling the list, you can go back to my tutorials of list. So this will get the as I said before, the tables are stored as list in this data. So if I give the index as to, only the second item on the list will get stored in this data one variable. So let's run this. So we can see what is present in that data one. So if I open data one, you can see the confirmed cases, that death and also this table and this table are same. So now what we have got is, from a group of tables from a internet page, we have got only the necessary table. So the next thing we need is, let's take only this confirmed cases and this death. So for that, what I'm going to do is, or let's plot for just one thing. So what I was meant to say is, let's plot only the death curve. So if I wanted to use only this death data and the country and death data, how am I supposed to do? So the next thing we have to do is, we have to declare the like if I need to plot these data into a graph, so how do I do that? So that will be data one dot plot, and I have to mention the x and y axis. So my x axis here will be my country. Yes, my country. So you have to use the exact word, since those are the keyword. Next, you will be declaring your y axis, which is confirmed cases. No, this deaths. So now if I run this, I'll be getting a graph. So you can see here we have got a graph of the data with the country's name in the x-axis and the number of deaths in the y-axis. So why I specifically use Spider is, Spider allows us to visualize these kind of graphs. We can also use PyCharm instead, but PyCharm is bit slow when compared to the Spider in processing data like this. So it will take more time to display a graph like this. So you can see the death curve here. So you can also see a special plot column here, which allows us to visualize the plots. So when we go deep and when we go into spatial data, this spider notebook will be very useful. So I have got a data. Can I store the data? If you ask how should we store this CSV file, I mean this data, like we have we have the data only in a Python code and it is stored in a variable. So if we need to store, we have a lot of method, but here we will be using a method called toCSV, to underscore CSV. And what this will do now is this will store the data data one. So this will store the data one that we got it from the internet variable to this to a CSV file. So we need to specify the location here. So let me go into some page. So one another more important thing that I have to discuss here is Python doesn't accept the directory name or a file path with a forward slash. So there are two ways to handle this. Either you give two forward slash, or you can, if you are giving one forward slash, you have to mention a letter or in front of your path. So only then it will read. So if without this, if I'm just storing it, so you can see here it is showing some error. So if I put a double slash, now it will accept this path, otherwise it will show error. So now let me store it. Oh, you didn't mention any name. Yeah, I have to mention the name. So let me save as pandas dot csv. So now it should say that file in the directory I have mentioned. So let's wait for it to run. Okay, so if you go there, you can see this pandas is getting stored. So another thing that I want to discuss with you is how to read a CSV file which we have already saved. So as I said before, we just saw about reading a HTML page. So there is another way of reading data, which is read CSV. So as usual, pd dot read CSV. So now we have to mention the path name. So which will be the same path name. I think I already, yeah, same path. So this is the path of this CSV file here. This CSV file, Panda CSV file. So I'm going to read this file which I've already saved here. So if I now read this and now I plot this, so I won't be needing all this because it's only one CSV file. So I'm going to plot. I'm going to read that CSV file and I'm going to plot it. So let's see. So you can see here we are reading the CSV file which is already saved in our device and we are plotting them. So there are a lot of the things we can do with pandas. I have just given an intro. We will see it once we go through much more problems. So kindly stay tuned. Thank you so much.